So off to get some lunch.
So what we have?
Fish and chips.
Or should we point it?
Haha, I got you.
So what have we got? Paella, beans, chicken. The pictures of that one, but obviously which one was that one was pork, lasagna. There's Russian salad at the end. So we've got Russian salad, we've got some big beans, buttery beans, some lasagna.
Butter. Aioli? Yeah, that's good. Put it there.
So we're in Las Palmas Marina in Gran Canaria. It took us 15 hours to get here last night from Lanzarote. It was a really good sail in that we had 14 to 16 knot winds, 14 to 20 knot winds. But the sea swell was absolutely incredible. It was between 3 and 4 meters and it was just such a nightmare. So none of us slept. We really struggled with that. Arrived here this morning at about 6:30 and just fell into bed for a few hours until they knocked on the boat and said, "Where are you?" We docked at the reception dock and then we had to move around to one of the pontoons, which is understandable. So we've just had some lunch and we're just going to go and try and get some internet sorted. So interesting little boats here. Or a big boat, rather.
I think that's a liverboard somehow.
Do you reckon?
Well, I don't know actually because it's all covered up, but
Yeah.
we've got settees on it.
Cool idea, like it.
It is a cool idea.
Oh, we'll have to stay out here all night. And they've probably all gone for a kip.
This is a dockyard in Las Palmas, and I am almost sure that it's the hub for many other islands as well, because there wasn't that much on Gran Canaria, but there's an awful lot of cargo vessels here. So I'm assuming that that's what it's for anyway. This is the marina that we're in, Las Palmas Marina. I've just seen a boat coming actually. It was its first light, so they've obviously sailed overnight like we did, but we came in the dead of night. So everybody says that it's quite awkward. It's a very narrow entrance, but as long as you get the entrance right, it's fine. A lot of cargo ships out there to sort of get around, but again, that's if you take care, that's fine. And there is a reception pontoon which will accept you at any time, day or night. So we tied up there and stayed there, had a small sleep until they came and knocked us up, went to the office, got sorted out, and now we're on a pontoon. So it's quite easy to do here in Las Palmas. Of course, that's when the Ark isn't here. I can imagine that it can be really, really, really busy when the Ark's here. This is the anchorage just outside Las Palmas Marina. A lot of them are on buoys, which I assume you have to pay for. But there are one or two on anchor as well, so I suppose you could, if you wanted to, come around here and drop the anchor, stay here for a few days, provision up, and then leave for the Atlantic.
So we're at the 20-kilometre mark for this marathon. Just at the drink station where they've got some music playing and they've got plenty of people, volunteers, trying to get drinks into everybody.
So we've been out now for
Just over 3 weeks.
just over 3 weeks, yes, and to say that it's not been quite what we expected would be a bit of an understatement. Things aren't going quite as well as we thought they would. Into ports and harbours has been just a nightmare. Onto pontoons, which there is a fundamental way of doing that, and he just doesn't seem to be able to grasp it. The boat's been damaged on numerous occasions. No, and it came to kind of a head yesterday. We've asked questions as we've gone along, because we joined the boat in Miramar and weren't sure as to what had been done to the boat or what preparations had been made with the boat. And every time we ask a question, it's almost as though they think that we are calling them idiots, and we've actually been told
their abilities
that they feel like we think that they're stupid, which is nonsense.
The
water maker was the example that we could use. I mean, obviously having water on board across the Atlantic is essential, and when it came to ordering or buying the water in bottles, we asked the question as to whether or not the water maker was working, and got a very strange reaction in that, well, what do you mean, is it working? Of course it's working. And we said, well, we haven't actually seen it working, or, we've not made any water since we've been on board, and we've been on board for 3 weeks now.
And we haven't had any sort of, right, we've checked the water maker and everything's working in order, I've serviced it, or whatever information you would expect.
No.
So we've had no reassurance that that's all working okay. So when we asked about how much water to take, we were given the impression that we were asking a stupid question. There's obviously a lot of water in the tanks. They've got over 500 litres of water in the tanks. They've also got the water maker, so why would we want to take lots of drinking water?
And when we questioned that and said, well, what happens if there's contamination in the tank or the tank splits, and we can't make water, where do we go from there? And all they said to us then was, well, you can come up with all sorts of situations that might arise, but
you can't plan for everything.
You can't plan for everything, and we just sort of kind of gave up at that point. But it's not just been the water maker, it's been on a number of occasions that these things have arisen.
Lots of our skills have been brought into question as well, as in when we're on watch at night. We know we've got to look around us, we know we've got to have our eye on the ball the whole time. So that to us is an obvious point. But when we do see lights and we think, oh, we ought to check that out, we switch on the AIS, and occasionally we've even switched on the radar, which is unusual.
And Larry hates the radar being on. I mean, he says it takes a lot of power, which it does take power, but I mean, I think the security and the safety of the crew on board, the people on board, is more important than a little bit of power that it might use while we have it on for 5 minutes.
And the whole point of having the AIS and the radar is to make sure that we're safe, and any lights we do see, we do want to confirm that what we've seen is actually accurate, especially if you're on your own. So I think we've been kind of, I don't know, pulled apart for using the equipment unnecessarily, and it's only when we think there's something to worry about we actually switch on the systems. So we've come to a bit of a conclusion that we're on the edge of pulling out. We don't want to. We want to cross the Atlantic. That was the whole idea. We've been with them 3 weeks now, and we've got this far, and I think we've done really well to get this far. But it's got to a point where it's becoming uncomfortable. And so, I don't know.
Well, we've said that we'll leave it today and find out and see how they react towards us for the rest of the day today and tomorrow. When it comes to the point of having to check out of Spain, and we have to go to the port police, and
Tuesday morning.
It will probably be Tuesday morning. We have to make that decision, and if that decision is that we're just not comfortable, then we will bail out, because there's no point in going across the Atlantic with people that you're just not happy with. So we will just wait and see.
Well, we've hired a car, we've abandoned ship, I won't go into detail, and we're going to go and see the sights. Oh, she's off again, isn't she? Yep. So we're staying in a hotel, can't even remember what it's called now, that's quite scary in itself. Donna Luisa Hotel on the slightly northern side of the island. Sun's out, sky's lovely, and we're going to go and sightsee.